And what's up? If you're watching this, you're probably watching the replay. I'm here with social distancing. Were we out of the camera? No, we're not.
No, we're still on camera.
All right, we're out of the frame with Jacob Nair David. So, Jacob, people are going crazy at home with their family, right?
Very crazy.
Now, you're lucky enough to have gotten out.
That should be the worst of it.
That should be the worst of it. Some people might say that is the worst of it. So, wait, you gotta go back. No worries. Oh, okay, so you can put on mute.
Yeah.
All right, so anyway, we're not gonna be able to address any comments immediately. We're gonna try to open it up on my computer if we have any. Please feel free to ask anything. My phone is actually streaming it. I wish I can show you the new setup we have. This is my very first video that we're doing in our new podcast studio. What you don't see is my phone is connected, wired through this mic. We need a better mic, which we'll try to talk into.
Without getting too
right. Let us know if we have audio problems or whatever. I'll go check out my WhatsApp web. You can WhatsApp me. Behind is...
I put myself on mute and I can see if there's...
Okay, perfect. Great. Actually, if you go to the live, you might see it better, but I don't know. Open them both to the actual... Oh, you're right. It is. Okay. If you actually... around here is a whole bunch of foam, which basically is for soundproofing, and I've ordered 2 more sets, but I don't know when that's going to be here. Last time they said it would take 3.5 weeks. It took 2 weeks. So anyway, we're here to drink our lives, our next 2 months away, but more than drink, we have wine. So tell us, what is Jezreel Winery, and who are you, and why the hell did you come, and why are we even hanging out?
Why are we hanging out?
How do we know each other?
Originally, maybe through our life partners, I think. I think that might be the way we
met.
I don't
we
met
think
before
that's true.
that.
I knew you
met before that.
I knew you through the marketing world, and then it
Yes.
was total coincidence.
Total coincidence. Okay.
I think maybe I might have first, maybe I don't know, but I'll tell you where. I seen you with Hillel.
Yes.
Before Hill Fold.
Sure.
And it might have been the first time, and I got to know you kind of a little bit at a DLD a few years ago.
Right.
I think that's when I first spoke to you. So I knew of you through social media. You were friendly through the internet space.
Right. And then we became actual friends.
Yes, then we became actual friends. We went up. We did some. I went up to see your winery. It was like a year ago already.
Yes.
Even longer.
And I think when you came up, right, you said a lot of important things, some of which we're just starting to figure out how to implement. Some of the smart and important things you said. And I think, especially now, I think we're all living out some of what you were saying in terms of getting content out to people so they could really see.
Should we open this?
Yeah, we can go for it. So this is
Why don't you talk about it? And then I have some questions about wine. I'm going to ask all those questions you were too scared to ask about wine.
Okay.
Really dumb shit. In addition, I'm going to ask some other questions that you didn't even know to ask, which are just interesting. And you'll fill it in, right?
So this is a funky wine.
What is funky wine?
This is a funky wine.
What makes it
funky time?
So what does that mean? It's like part spoiled?
So I'm going to explain this, right? Afterwards, we can tag this with natural wine, tag pet nat, which I'll explain, and a bunch of others, which are for super hipsters, loves this kind of wine. We were the first people in Israel to make it.
Why do hipsters like this wine?
I'll explain. Because right after the initial crush, you fill the bottles and everything takes place in the bottle. All the fermentation takes place in the bottle. So
how long was it in here?
This was in the bottle about 6 months. This is from this past summer's harvest. We just released it into the market. But the reason why it's such a funky wine, and I use that word, is because besides our label, this process of winemaking, which is...
So as I can see, it's a pretty kick-ass label.
Yes.
I'm actually going to go see if we have any technical difficulties. Keep talking. If anyone see if there are any messages, and then once they know we don't, then I know we're good. People would have told us by now.
Okay.
Yeah, so tell us about this funky wine.
So this particular version of this funky wine is a rosé, Pétillant Naturel. And what happens is, because all the fermentation takes place in the bottle, you end up with a bubbly wine. So while we may think there's nothing to separate...
There's some questions already.
Okay.
Well, let's get right into it. Why, Avner Greenwald, who's our head of SEO, he wants to know, repeat the question because I'm not near the mic. Why are red wines served in dark bottles?
why are red wines served in dark bottles?
Why are light wines, or let's call them light colored, let's go from green grapes. And by the way, is there a controversy? Do they call it green grapes?
They don't call them green grapes.
What do they call them?
Grapes for white wine.
That's how you call it. Okay.
Right.
So like in my house, they're green grapes.
White grapes. When you have green grapes, which are usually Thompson seedless grapes.
Well, let's get this.
So we're gonna go. This is gonna be a funky thing. My 12-year-old son loves to be the one to open wine.
Because it's like a beer bottle.
First one generally loves to be the one opening wine in my house. But particularly this wine because it's like a beer bottle and because of the pop and the fizz.
Okay, got it.
Right, because we don't have any soda in our house. This is the closest.
This is the closest to soda. Nice. Boom.
Right.
Yeah, that is. It's got a nice.
Got nice little bubbles going on there.
Awesome.
Right. So we should be drinking this from, if you want to be super proper, from like a more fluty type.
What's a fluty and why? Why is that proper?
Champagne fluty things. It looks prettier for the bubbles.
I'm curious. Did you go to undergrad in the United States?
I did.
Okay. And socially, did you drink wine?
No.
No. Okay. And did you drink anything?
Beer, like most.
Okay.
Yeah.
And were you like a beer snob? Was that even a thing then?
Nah, it wasn't a thing then.
See, when I went to college, it was just like the lowest common denominator. We played Slap the Bladder. Do you know where this is going? Do you want to guess? It's wine related.
Go ahead.
So it was boxed wine, right? Have you ever seen boxed wine? Yes. So imagine you got boxed wine, but actually in the box, it's actually just like a big bladder, like a Camelback.
Right.
In a box. So we just play the game. We take it out of the box. We take the bladder out of the box. We'd slap the bladder, and then you just had to drink while people kept slapping it until you couldn't hold it in your mouth and keep drinking. That was the game. It was like a keg stand. It was like you went upside down. L'chaim.
Anyway, Amen.
Oh, all right, nice. I get it. It's bubbly. Hipsters would like this.
Yeah, so hipsters like it both because it's bubbly, but not because it's bubbly, but also because it's a natural wine, minimal intervention. You're not really working with the wine as it's developing. Everything's in the bottle. And from a spiritual point of view, you could say it's the wine that's most in the hands of whatever the powers that are, because you're not intervening at all. Whatever happens, happens. Whereas wine that's in a barrel or in a steel tank, you're tasting it all the time.
Right.
You can intervene.
Something you don't know.
This, it's just you wait till when it's ready.
So you don't know what it's going to come out as. I mean, you try to manipulate.
It could be a disaster. The only way
that's a huge loss.
Yes, the only way to manipulate, that's why it's only small batches. The only way to manipulate these wines is before you've actually crushed it. But once you've crushed it and put it in the bottles, you're stuck. Whatever happens, happens.
So now you're driving. So later, I might drink a little more than you.
You might drink a little more than me.
Yeah, but by flight, I'm just saying. So
I'm not going to drink that much.
For all the way, I understand that.
I'm not going to drink that much. Don't.
I mean, I'm giving some free consulting to people tonight.
Yes,
they're going to have time.
Do not drink and drive.
Is that what I do?
Absolutely, do not drink and drive.
Do not share glasses now either. We're going to.
Do not share glasses. Don't even sniff from each other's glasses, which sometimes people do.
From each other's glasses.
Yeah, sometimes you'll say, "Oh, smell this." What do you think?
That reminds me of the Seinfeld episode where there was a guy in the gym with Elaine, and he wouldn't wipe down his machine after he was done, and they were like, "Oh, he's sharing the germs. That means like he wants to be intimate." Does that make any sense? Or
it does. I've actually been freaked out a few times that I've gone to actual gyms to run or do something. I am a little freaked out by
the people that don't wipe down the machines.
Well, the whole thing, that you're mingling so much with people's germs, and that was obviously in a pre-corona.
Yes, I think it's called China virus now.
Yeah, I'm not going to call it that. I will not call it that. Yeah, but why do we have to celebrate? We have to celebrate no matter what, because thank God we're alive.
Amen.
And we will flatten the curve, and we'll get through this.
God willing.
No matter how long it takes, we will get through it. And the finer things in life, we have to celebrate.
Oh wait, so back to Avner's question.
The green.
The dark, the green.
Yeah, there's so much tradition in the wine world. Mainly tradition. There is a little bit of mystique in terms of red wine and why the green tinted bottles are often used, which is until you pour it, you don't see the real color. Whereas with a white wine, on the flip side, or for example, a nice rosé, you use a clear bottle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You use a clear bottle for a rosé because it's so pretty and you want people to see the pretty color.
Mm-hmm.
For the red wines, very few of us, including me, very few of us based just on the color of a red wine could tell what it is. Almost nobody, right? So the reason to go with some of these other types of bottles is mainly tradition. You have different types of bottles.
But this isn't tradition.
This is not at all tradition.
So why not break the rules and make your own freaking colors?
You certainly can. But
what's that? Why haven't I not seen that?
Well, you have seen it, right? There's the Bartenura and the blue.
All right, blue. Okay.
Right, the blue bottle. So that was breaking tradition. They started using blue bottles rather than the green tint or the clear bottles.
Right.
And then, by the way, it just comes to behind the scenes, cost of the bottles, right? Efficiency, right. Where are you ordering them from? You know, if I wanted,
right, you need to now make.
If I wanted mauve bottles or Oka bottles,
so you don't have the economies of scale.
Yeah.
All right, another question. I know the answer to this one. Before you even came, I'm pouring like an idiot. What's up with the corks? Why have we moved away? Why am I seeing less and less corks? Corks for lids. For
so this you do with a beer.
To make sure she'll want.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. So this we do with a beer cap because of the winemaking method. But in terms of screw tops, beer tops. I'm just blanking out on the actual technical word for that. Mm-hmm. And then even within corks, there's many different types of corks. There's synthetic corks. You have
there's like a plastic-ish.
A bottle of wine and for keeping a bottle of wine. There were a lot of good reasons as to why cork developed. Today, screw top versus a cork, the main reason we still go with cork,
tradition,
and all kinds of wine people will yell at me for saying this, is tradition.
That's it.
That's the main reason.
But if you put tradition aside, I understand it's actually a problem because sometimes when you open it, you can push the cork all the way through and ruin a good bottle of wine.
So many issues with corks, right? Corks could dry out. We were talking about that earlier.
We'll talk about it in a minute.
Corks could dry out, and then they could become little pieces in your bottle. You could push it all the way through. The wine also, there's an expression in the wine world, which is the bottle has become corked, which is if it wasn't stored properly.
Yeah,
if it wasn't stored properly, and the cork dried out and too much air gets into the bottle, particularly if the foil isn't hermetic, which usually is not.
Can you just like repackage it and sell it and call it corked wine to hipsters?
You could try, but it's
why wouldn't you do that?
It's usually pretty
bad.
It's usually pretty bad once it's
but they're hipsters. But look, if you put this brand in it, if you put this label on it, hipsters will buy anything.
Look, I come from a long line of saying yes, you can sell anything. I completely agree with you. Packaged right, marketed right.
Correct. Which we'll get to marketing in a bit.
You can sell anything.
Well, I guess this whole conversation really is marketing.
Yes. Conversation is marketing. But it's I think the wine on the higher end of wine, not the boxed wine that you were imbibing in your youth, but higher end wine is a combination of skill, tradition, and luck. So on the skill side, some of that has to do with the winemaking itself. Some of it has to do with the growing of the grapes, even before you get to the actual winemaking. So there's could be that the wine that you're drinking is the result of literally dozens of years of people's work, of very skilled work, to get the vineyard to the point where it's yielding grapes of a certain quality that could give you the bottle of wine you're looking for.
What percentage of bottles that people consume, people actually give a shit about this stuff, and rather they just want a wine that tastes decent to their palate and decent to their wallet?
Right. So first of all, if you're drinking wine to get drunk, it's a bad way to get drunk, right? Because
why? Where
you got to drink a lot of it. In other words,
it was like 12% and like an empty. So
even 14% wine, you still have to drink a lot of it to get drunk.
How much do you need to get drunk?
I don't get drunk very easily.
Right. Okay, I understand that. You were big in wine.
But so I don't.
Your tolerance is probably very high.
Right.
Okay, so one of the ways I lost weight, and this is a little secret for all you trying to lose weight, I replaced dinner with red wine. Just straight up. Replace dinner and just drank a bottle of red wine. And on like kind of an empty stomach, I'd have a late lunch, like a big 2 p.m.
You have to have a
lunch.
late lunch, right?
Yeah, I had a late lunch. And a relatively heavy lunch. And then, I mean, I'd get drunk and it would be great. And then I would just be drunk and my goal was just like stay away from the kitchen. And that's how I did it. So,
it's a good method. I
didn't eat as much.
I'm very supportive of that.
I think you should be right. By the way, I think there's another idea is you can start the wine diet plan. What do you, like, why not? Everything else works. I mean, why not give people the diet that they want?
Right.
And so you send them like certain wines and you'll pair it with like healthy olives and cheese or whatever.
Right.
No? Trying too hard?
No, I think it's a good idea. And the big question for times like these, right, where, and going to what you were just asking before, so there's the boxed wine and there's whatever wine that you may be buying to get drunk, or just that you enjoy wine, but your budget is very limited and so on. But during times where people start cutting back on things, right, are they going to still include wine as part of their basics?
Right.
And that is really on a case-by-case basis or even a culture-by-culture basis, right? Some cultures, wine is a basic.
That's correct.
Right? If you're in France, Italy, Spain, wine is a basic. It's something you drink.
I mean, Friday night for Kiddush and Shabbat, everyone certainly have wine.
Right. That's a bad example because I grew up, right, like many people in the Jewish community, particularly in the traditional Jewish community, with my parents saying Kiddush on Friday night, bringing in the Sabbath, with red Concord Malaga, Concord Malaga wine, super sweet cough syrup type stuff.
Right.
Not Manischewitz for our viewing public. Most people weren't using Manischewitz.
Right. Most people generally don't.
They were using Kedem. They were using Kedem Concord Malaga. Very super sweet. Yeah, very super sweet. Very sweet stuff. Right. But they would say Kiddush, but they wouldn't really drink it. My father would take a sip of it and then spill it.
So that's for grape. We do Kiddush on grape juice because I just don't want my kids drinking alcohol.
Oh, okay.
I mean, just let them when the time comes. I don't want them.
Right. I start my kids at 2 years old on alcohol.
Yeah. So I thought it was fine. So I had since when my older daughter, she's 8. I don't remember what I was drinking. I was drinking a very bitter beer, and she goes, "Abba, why don't you know?" She's like, just drive me insane. And I thought, like, you're not gonna like it. You're not gonna like it. And I gave it to her, and of course, she liked it. She loved it, and as she loved it, she sucked on it, and like her whole tongue and it was all inside. And I was like, okay, enough, get that back. And then you start to read things about, you know what I mean, better than not drink younger because
so
more likely and all those things.
Right, so our drink,
drink
wine and beer and all that kind of stuff.
Right, I'm just trying to delay. I don't want them, I mean, look, if I can go back and I've never, let's say, had a sober upbringing, I wonder what kind of a different person I am today. I mean, I have a lot of vices because all of the things that they are, you know,
but the higher end, what I call the higher end of wine, which maybe is not a great way to characterize it, but the wine where people spent a lot of time caring about that product, right? Boutique, artisanal, whatever you want to call it, which usually translates price-wise into a little bit more expensive product. That represents about 1/3 of the market. 2/3 of the market is a lot of cheap bulk wine.
So what is that? Give me the price range.
So cheap bulk wine at retail, right, would be less than $10 a bottle.
Got it. Right? Yeah. You could, like in Israel, like under 35 shekels.
In Israel, the Israeli version of that is 4 for 100 shekel, right? What we would say in Hebrew, arba lamea.
Or sometimes you get 3 for 100 or 3 for 90. You get the Golan wineries. That's kind of by the high end of that, right?
And what Golan, and this, let's give a little credit to the Golan Heights Winery here in Israel, which was our version of, let's say, the Gallo brothers, is that they actually were able to make decent drinkable wine that still cost you 30 shekel, or for Americans, $8 retail. And I say to them, all the respect, you know, that you can do that.
Yeah,
that's great. For some of us, though, who enjoy wine a little bit more, or who are, whatever you want to call it, a little bit more enthusiasts, that wine just doesn't cut it. It's a little bit too flat in its taste.
Yeah, I can just bring this computer here. If you get more comments.
Okay.
I'm still listening, man. You can
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. Does this thing have an audio? Or is it just me? Damn it. I mean, we're still 7 people watching live. If there are audio problems or something, tell me. There shouldn't be. Try to unmute yourself. Let's see. Oh, I can actually probably do it here.
That you can do that.
Yeah, you're fine. Mute it. It's just her.
Okay.
Ayala, it's just you. All right. Ayala, it is just you. We tested it. By the way, if you add a comment here, we'll reply to it. We'll see it in 90 seconds. Beryl Taftenberg, wine and marketing. I couldn't not jump in. What's up, Beryl? If you got any questions, let us know. We got some people tagging. L'chaim, Sherry, what's up? Sherry wants beer. Sherry, you bring beer, we'll drink. Michal, I'm assuming that's your daughter, says hi, Abba.
Hi.
Sure. Yay, Abba. A lot of people need some wine now. We're getting a lot of that. And some people tagging other people to join.
Well, on the subject of needing wine now, right? So during these challenging times, I do want to say to people, both here in Israel where we are, but around the world, you can order wine for home delivery. Do it.
Do it. Do it. Now, so if you have coronavirus, or if you don't, but you're worried that you might, or you're worried you might, like in my case, kill all your neighbors, because all my neighbors, I have 2 kinds of neighbors. I live in a Yemenite community in Pardes Chana. They either have old Yemenite people who are awesome. Basically, they bring us the chuch and chelben, all this great food on Friday. And let's not talk about them. So it's not relevant. They're cool though. They're most of them. But they, they're tough. You're scared to get them sick. But anyway, so therefore, if you don't want to go out and get wine, you deliver, right?
Yeah. So I mean, we as a winery deliver, but the wine industry as a whole has started to turn those who were not doing direct consumer and home delivery have realized they've really got to ramp up their game, and sometimes it takes a time of difficulty to get you to think of creative ways to maintain your business and run your business. I've been pushing ourselves and the wine industry as a whole. As you know, I also have a digital marketplace for wine that I've started, Vincent, which is to get people to order wine online.
So let's talk about that. People want to order online. So you have this. There's an app. Right?
It's a web app.
It's a web
app, right?
Basically, order online. Right. Basically, wine.
Yeah, you go to Vincent, Vincent.wine, and you'll see a whole bunch of wineries from France, Italy, Spain, Israel, the U.S.
Search Vincent Wines, Vincent, and you can see for yourself all the wine, basically, and you can get it delivered, including in Israel, right?
Yep.
In Israel or wherever you are. If you're watching this, so that's good to know. So I can do that.
And then for our winery.
Or wait, I want to give an alternative. Or invite Jacob over and he'll deliver a case.
That's always a good idea.
Not
scalable.
Not scalable. But he shut up a case, I bought a case. And you came over, the bottles were upside down. But in the case. So I'm like, yo, dude, I think you opened the wrong end of the box. And I'm like, he's smarter than that, right? He packed the case probably because he just came straight in.
Right, came straight from the winery. This is hand delivered from the winery. I did not get it wrong. So you should store, if you're storing bottles of wine in a case, if you have a case delivered. So wineries will deliver it to you in 2 ways. One, in a box of 12. If it's a box of 12, they're traditionally going to be kind of standing up. If they're standing up with the top of the bottle like this, that's wrong. They should be upside down. Why? Because you don't want the cork to dry out. If you are keeping it in that box for some reason and not putting it into your cellar, but you want to keep it in the original box you got it in, keep it the way they gave it to you, but do check that the bottles are actually upside down. If you are putting it in a wine rack or if you have a wine refrigerator or whatever, then you know that you put them sideways.
Right, and it's fine.
Same
So
thing.
you said 2 things. So like one is that the cork doesn't dry. Why? Because when you open the cork and you twist it in, it's dry. It's more likely to break apart and fall into the wine. And
if it's a dry cork, it will definitely fall apart.
Right. Yeah. So if you ever had pieces of your wine fall in, that's because you've been storing it upside down incorrectly. Okay, you've been storing it incorrectly.
Just say it the way it is.
Yeah, there you go. And that's why they should be this way. Also, you can stack more.
And you can stack more.
I mean, I'm all about space. So, especially in Israel where they don't even have closets.
Well, you built this house.
Oh, no, I have a closet. I have a huge walk-in closet. But none of the bedrooms are ready because we have stupid.
We built our own house. Also, and the first thing I said to the architect, to the architect was, where are the closets? And he's like, well, you buy them. I said, no, you don't buy the closets.
They're in the room.
They're in the room.
But there's something to that. But I mean, I don't know how it goes out there, but up here, I mean, they're such fascists with their regulations. You can only build a certain percentage of thing, so you don't want to waste your space on closets when you
but then you still need a place to put your stuff. So
what we did, we made a massive walk-in closet next to our bedroom, which I'll show you later, maybe if my wife lets you, because she might kill you, or me for bringing you here. And so we just so we put our extra suitcases and everything. So we have all of our closets store in there, and then our daughters have their own closet for their clothes.
So back to wine. So that is the reason why the wine bottles were that way. By the way, wine delivery is a huge thing. Right? Why are people scared of ordering wine online sometimes? Even people who know something about wine, or particularly some people who know something about wine, they're scared because how is this going to be delivered? For example, if you live in a climate like ours, 6 months of the year where it's quite hot out, and if the wine is going to be sitting in a delivery truck, a little bit more, if the wine's going to be sitting in a delivery truck and it's 35 degrees or 90 degrees Fahrenheit, 35 degrees Celsius, 90 degrees, and your wine's sitting out there, if it's sitting out there for a couple of hours at that temperature, that's going to be very cooked wine. So people get nervous sometimes.
What happens to the wine when you cook it? Or if you leave it out for a couple hours?
If it's really cooked, in that sense, it could turn to vinegar pretty quickly.
Some expensive vinegar.
Right, exactly.
Do you sell vinegar?
We do not, but
do not yet.
We do not yet. We do not want to sell vinegar. So one of the issues is, in delivery of wine is who's delivering it? Are they taking care to make sure that it doesn't get fried on the way to you? And unlike your iPhone, when it heats up and it turns off, but then it'll come back on.
Right.
Once your wine gets cooked, it's gone. It'll never revert back to its original finery. So you don't want that to happen. So that's one of the issues. So you do have to make sure that when you're ordering wine, that the person that you're ordering from knows what they're doing, has some reputable service that's going to be delivering the wine. And then there's other issues like it's a fragile product, it's in a bottle, you don't want it to break, and that kind of stuff. But those are some of the issues, because the logistics around wine are challenging in two senses. One, it's a very regulated product around the world. And two, it is a sensitive product.
Is there a wine lobby?
There is a wine lobby, not so much in Israel.
How are they doing?
The wine lobby in the States.
Are they successful?
They're very successful. They have a conflict of interest, because part of the wine lobby in the States are not the wineries, but they're the people who like the system the way it is. So the big distributors, the big importers.
They want to block people out, so they like the regulation.
They want to keep things the way they are.
Right, because they're already in. They want to shut the door behind them.
For sure. So the largest wine distributor in the States, called Southern Glazer, who do a lot of great things, and I have only good things to say about them. They do about $18-19 billion a year of business in the U.S., the largest by far of wine distributors in the U.S. For them, what's called the three-tier system in the States works out relatively well, right? So it means that there's importing, and then there's state distributor, and then there's a store before it gets to you.
Right.
And that's a big issue.
Right. The three are divided. I'm from Pennsylvania, where they have.
Oh my goodness.
Which is why I asked. So I'm gonna vent. I'm gonna vent hard, because if people don't know, I'm a strong libertarian. And
Pennsylvania is the wrong place to be for wine.
So somehow, we had a liberal, by liberal I mean classical liberal, basically anti-regulation governor, who said, screw this, wine and spirit stores. So in Pennsylvania is the only place you can't buy alcohol, even beer, in your supermarket. Which is the only state in America in the Union. So he's like, screw this. Why not?
Not only that, in order to get wine into the States, into the state, into Pennsylvania, you have to go through the state liquor board has to approve your wine.
I know, it's so stupid. It's so stupid. These regulations are so dumb. So he was like, what's his name? John? I forgot the governor. Since he got booted, he got it was a different governor now. But so what he did was he wanted, but then all these like unions were like, no, the people that are running these state-owned wine and spirit stores, you know what I mean? No, we're going to lose our business and this and that. And I'm like, it's just like it's the same. At the end of the day, us as consumers,
right,
and by consume,
right, that suffer. So in 10,
we lose. Yes. So for a few bureaucrats and employees
who make a lot of money. So
where's the wine? Where is the
it's state by state? In the U.S., it's state by state.
I know.
Every state has a state liquor board.
Yeah,
and it could be in a state like Tennessee, it could be like 3 people that are making the decisions for the state of Tennessee.
It's not easy to pay off.
But the most recent Supreme Court case on the subject of distribution of particularly wine, but also other alcohol, but this was about wine, was that Tennessee had a residency requirement to become a approved seller of wine in Tennessee. You had to have lived in Tennessee for 10 years in order to sell wine in Tennessee, which meant that they were being very protective of the local.
Which means there was a local person who didn't want, who wanted to block someone out, so he did.
Wait, so the Supreme Court struck that.
So what do you? Okay, so let's. Sorry to bring in a different name here. What are your thoughts on Gary Vaynerchuk? Because he was talking when he tried to get into Texas, they have some insane regulations.
Right. So
like that out.
So
but
very few people know the wine world as well as Gary does because he grew up in it. His dad still runs a very large wine and alcohol company. And Gary built up the online kind of face of that. That was his initial foray into the world of online marketing.
Wait, hold on. Well, for those that don't know, and if you don't, shame on you, Gary Vaynerchuk is probably, in my opinion, the voice when it comes to content marketing.
Yes.
When it comes to, I mean, if you like attention, like I do. So, you understand the importance of it, grabbing attention, giving attention, giving value to other people.
I don't know if I ever told you to do this. I think if I didn't, look at Gary, the evolution of Gary V, or how he became Gary V. So one of the things that Gary did, just apropos to what we're doing right now, is Gary pioneered about, I don't know if it's 12, 13 years, I don't know how many years ago it is at this point. He would do wine reviews before even YouTube. He was doing his own videos, which he had on Wine Library TV.
Wine Library TV, yeah.
Wine Library TV. And then he uploaded them all to YouTube. You can find them on YouTube now. But look at the first 10 of them.
That is unbelievable.
And then skip to like 300, because he stopped doing them like at like 350 or something. But look at episode like 300, and you'll go, oh my God, it's a completely different person. Gary learned how to do content. Right. But he had to take that step, right? He had to take that step.
Good, we're shifting to marketing, guys. Marketing.
Oh,
right.
Gary had to take that step. So the initial ones were super boring. It took him a long time to get out whatever he wanted to say. And as he developed, though, one of the most hilarious episodes, particularly of people from Israel, take a look at it. Just Google Gary Vaynerchuk Israeli wine, and you'll find some episodes where he talks about Israeli wine.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What was it, like 15 years ago?
And Rogoff, who was the top critic and reviewer of Israeli wine, who sadly passed away many years ago.
I heard he was an asshole, is that true?
What, Rogoff?
Yeah.
He was opinionated.
Okay, thank you. I mean, I'm opinionated about it.
He was opinionated. He was opinionated. A blessed memory, but he did great things for the Israeli wine industry. Was never able to rate our wines because he sadly passed away before we started making wine. But Rogoff was a guest on Gary V's show.
Oh yeah, I know that. I see it.
And what does Rogoff say to Gary V? He says to Gary V, Gary, and this is after Gary had already become like boom, 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 Gary.
Right.
And Rogoff says to him, relax, Gary, and let me tell you something. I actually didn't like you at all, and I thought you were obnoxious, and I thought everything you're doing was like bad for the wine industry. And I still think you're obnoxious, as Rogoff says, I still think you are obnoxious, but I realize that you're speaking in a voice and you're reaching audiences that my columns in the Wall Street Journal we're never going to reach, right? And you've taken wine education out to people who otherwise would never get exposed to it in a way, and speaking in a language that they understand. So I've grown to appreciate what you do, but I still think you're obnoxious. So that was
respect.
Yeah.
And by the way, that's so Israeli. No one else would say to your face, thanks for having me on your show. I think you're obnoxious. I think what you do sucks. I think it sucks less, but I still think you're obnoxious. Right. I think there's some good in what you're doing, but I still hate you.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me on your show.
But then it was also fascinating to see Gary Vee talk about Israeli wine, because he also got Israeli wine. He got the initial.
So how come he doesn't talk about it anymore?
Well, first of all,
he doesn't talk about wine in general. Show. He talks more about sneakers than anything.
Exactly, he got much more into sneakers. But Gary now is trying to do his dream of the way wine should reach people. He started his own winery with two of his partners.
Called Empathy Wines, right?
Right, who have been on Wine Library TV and have been with him as he built up Vaynermedia, which is Empathy Wines. And essentially, he's making wine from some top vineyards in California and delivering it directly to consumers. So I hope he succeeds. I think he, judging what I can see, seems that he was succeeding. I haven't tasted the wines yet. That's shame on me that I haven't tasted Empathy wines yet. If Empathy,
are they kosher? No.
Depends how you define kosher. But
how do you define kosher?
Do we have to get into that? Get into this on live television?
Everything is live. My life is the Truman Show. But if you, but there's really, you're already being recorded. Actually, just to switch gears and then switch back.
By the way,
I recently, and you should too, I uninstalled TikTok and WeChat from my phone. And so, because that's all I'm going to say. And I think you should also uninstall it. Because the communist China.
Right. I still have TikTok on my phone. I look at it every couple weeks.
The girls are there basically a bunch of sluts, but the guys are hilarious.
I do look.
The young guys they remind me of me, because I used to do all that dumb shit, but not for the camera.
Just
we did it for ourselves.
Exactly.
We push ourselves down the steps and on shopping carts at school. we prank each other. All these dumb things.
Right. Let's do stupid things.
But when you know you're going to record it,
and potentially get 58,000.
Right. Exactly. Right. Unbelievable. It's amazing. The things that I done, how much attention it would have got. By the way, this is a definition of wisdom. My definition of wisdom is is you can take what you know now and you can now somehow go back 15, 20 years and apply it, right? Look, I have an undergrad in finance, international business. I graduated magna cum laude, then went and got my MBA and all that. In hindsight, I wish I didn't go to college, but no, I didn't, because it's a waste for 90% of people. I'm very entrepreneurial. If you're entrepreneurial, great. If you're looking at a job in finance, whatever.
Yes, if you
25% of people need them, and even in finance, many people do because they want to go work for Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, and whatever. But what I've discovered is that, and we'll bring this back, I guess, maybe not, who knows where it goes, is that I learned that I don't need this, I can learn on my own. But the thing is that when you were younger, I didn't have that wisdom. You know what I mean? I was kind of following the flock. The flock was, including my Jewish mother, pounding me, go to university, go to school, go to school, go to school, go to college, go to college. Just like Gary Vee talked about, right? Go to college, you gotta go. And I did. And I learned, I was very studious, and I succeeded. I was a treasurer of 3 organizations, So, I get it, but it's true. If I can take what I know now and I can give that to 18-year-old Yo, then I think I would have saved a lot of money. I'm still paying off debt now.
So I think had scholarships for both my undergrad.
What did you study?
So I did 2 years of a 6-year medical program because my mother really wanted a son that was a Jewish doctor.
Oh, my mother still complains that she goes.
But I'm the only.
You understand what a Jewish?
Are there any other boys in your?
Yeah, I have a younger brother.
And is he a doctor?
No, he's not. But he went to college and dropped out, which is totally cool. He's a chef. He's awesome.
Oh, that's great.
He's in Philly. He's very good.
Oh, cool.
Dropped out, but she still talks about she wanted to be a doctor, but wasn't acceptable for women, blah, 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 blah. Then, and I'm like, I know other doctors that are older than you that are women, but I understand it might have been, but.
Anyway, so I did 2 years of a 6-year med program because my mother wanted a son who was a Jewish doctor. So she had a son, but I just couldn't give her the Jewish doctor part.
And so she disowned you, right?
No. But I then had to kind of bridge it somehow, right? So my father kept saying, just finish the thing so you have the medical degree. I'm like,
so you have the degree.
I don't want to be a doctor. I can't slog this out.
Couldn't print this out? You couldn't
for another 4 years. I couldn't do it.
Can you buy a doctorate or something?
Well, yeah, whatever. I couldn't.
Not then.
I couldn't do it. So I said, I can't do this. So I switched out of that, and I had a full scholarship. So it was part of the program, was a full scholarship. And then the college I was at really wanted me to stay there. So they said, we'll find you this other scholarship. What do you want to do? I said, well, I think I'd like to get a degree in English literature. They were like, okay, fine, here's a scholarship for that.
But why would they have you stay then if it's for?
They just wanted me to stay. They didn't want me to leave. So I got my undergraduate degree. So I had 2 undergraduate degrees. I had one Bachelor of Science in Human Biology because I had taken way too many science courses already, and then a degree of English literature.
How do you use them now?
Not at all. I can't stand biology.
Is that crazy?
Right. English literature is I do read English.
I heard that language. I do too, and I didn't even study it.
I do read English.
You know, it's funny. I'm a math guy. I grew up math and finance background. I love numbers, but I mean, like, I hated reading growing up.
So I loved reading growing up. Loved reading. My mother is still a voracious reader and teaches. I love puzzles. Like, I wish if Sudoku was around when I was a little kid, that was probably what I would have sat. Like, there's like my older daughter. She started to just start reading in Hebrew. She starts like reading on her own. And I'm like, this is weird. She's just sitting there quietly reading. Nice.
And here I am scrolling LinkedIn. You know?
Very short Gary V.
Exactly.
How do we carve out? How do we cut up this content into 30 pieces of content? And, you know.
I want to make sure it's still streaming. Yeah, we're still cool. And
anyways, well, then I got a law degree, which I never planned to use.
Right.
But I got the law degree.
Yeah, wait, real fast. Did any guys get a degree that you're not using? I want to know, what degree did you have that you're not using, and what are you doing now? I would really like to know. Put it in the comments, whether you're watching on LinkedIn or Facebook.
So did a law degree help me to one day start a winery? No. Did a law degree help me become a tech entrepreneur? No, not directly. Do I enjoy the fact that I have the law degree? Yes, but only because, again, I had a scholarship and I didn't come out with a lot of debt or any debt. Had I had a tremendous amount of debt for that degree, I would be more upset.
I understand. I have a little bit of debt left. I think I'm just going to pay it off. The interest is too high.
Or wait for President Sanders.
Yeah, well, that's not happening. That's what I was waiting for. God forbid, you know what I mean? It's like,
I don't think
we'll cancel your debt, but we'll kill all the Jews.
I don't think, I disagree with that part, but.
No, just the ones that disagree with him.
I think President Trump would get there before he would, but President Biden will.
President Biden will do anything.
We'll take the middle course.
I don't know.
Right.
I have no idea.
Let's
not get into politics right now. I don't mean to, but I don't like communists.
Right. Well, we don't have any. Well, we can't.
It doesn't matter. It's not relevant.
Right. We can't talk about politics in Israel or America. So, but
by the way, just to know, you shouldn't. I've had people that message me that, like, your clients, like, oh, they're so, like, during a time right now, during a pandemic, politics. No, but this is important to say, because I can't think how many people still that are so passionate, left and right. They're so like, oh, it's going to help bring down Trump because Trump was probably going to win re-election because the economy was amazing. What's that? It's like there are more important things right now, and it's very egotistical. So like, even though we might think and feel these things, there's a difference between what you think and feel and what you act and what you say.
Well, there is. But by the way,
that's the essence of Judaism, right? You can have bad thoughts, and it may be, I'm an expert here. Bad thoughts can be a sin maybe in other faiths, but in Judaism, it doesn't matter. Your bad thoughts I have them all the time on many things, but how do you act on them?
Actually, right, in Judaism, you actually do have some of those bad thoughts could become actual, violations, right? So if you think of the Aseret HaDibrot, the 10 Commandments, the debate of whether some of them, right, is whether you're acting on it, right? If you're
coveting, if you're thinking about other gods, if
you're coveting somebody else's property.
But is that an act?
Well, I think you have to. Do you have to act on it?
I don't know. The question's in the adjective, right?
Right. So when we get up to that part in Daf Yomi, we'll discuss it. But
when you get up to that, because I'm way too lazy for Daf Yomi.
So I took on the Daf Yomi, which some of your listeners know.
Wait, what the hell's Daf Yomi?
Some of your listeners know is studying what it's called, if you directly translate it, is a page at the Talmud a day, but it's actually a marketing gimmick. It's not a page, right? If you remember your Talmud study, a page of Talmud is actually 2 pages.
They're both sides.
It's both sides of the page. So that's a total marketing gimmick to say do Daf Yomi, and you'll say a page a day, and then you start doing. You're like, wait, this isn't a page a day. This is 2 pages a day.
That's right.
They sold me this Daf Yomi thing.
Hold on, isn't there like an audiobook? By the way, yes, Tara, coffee does count. Why aren't you 2 meters apart? No, who cares? It's Tara, we don't. You know what? We're this close, so you're too scared to come and join us. Don't send Blair.
We're usually hugging. This is social distancing.
Yes, we're making out earlier. That's what wine does to you.
Well, maybe to you, but I think that's part of the 10 Commandments.
Is that one of them? I don't know. It's somewhere in Leviticus, but I don't think the 10 Commandments.
Well,
I'm married. I'm married, so yeah.
Don't covet somebody else's spouse. That would be a modern version.
I'm not coveting. I'm just drawing.
Well,
okay, that's two different things. I mean, wine is so incorporated. Let's actually talk about that. Let's talk about why do you think so in Judaism? There are two things that really like sanctify. We use something physical to sanctify the spiritual. The two, what I believe in them probably more or whatever, but one is wine. It's not even really grape juice per se, but you can use grape juice.
Well, it's supposed to be
wine. And the other is candles, which we're not going to talk about.
Candles came in later. Actually, when you think about it, the two core things are wine and water. Are the two like how do you purify yourself?
Oh right. So wait.
You have to dunk yourself in water.
Wait. Oh, in the mikvah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I was thinking about baptism, but that's also true.
Well, where did baptism come from?
Right. You know, I don't know. I never thought about that. To be honest,
I never thought about it.
Wait, when they anoint a king in the Torah, they use oil, right?
Right. The oil came in.
Oil is also very holy. Olive oil. Also, the menorah was with wasn't candles.
Right.
It was olive oil. So oil, all and Shabbat candles actually are.
But the transformative things in Jewish life, right, where in the Christian faith tradition you would call them the sacrament type things.
Mm-hmm.
The transformative things in Jewish life are with either wine or with water. What was the first public miracle that Jesus, according to the tradition, what was the first miracle?
He turned water into wine.
Turned water into wine. That was his first public miracle. So water and wine are these two kind of central pillars. And in fact, if you were doing Daf Yomi, you would have known that a couple of weeks ago, when we were still in Brachot, there was a whole discussion of adding drops of water to wine.
Right. This is a Kabbalistic thing too. And before we do Kiddush on Friday night, you try to put 3 little drops, just pour a little water in wine. Now, why do you do that? I pour water in my scotch because it opens it up a little bit. The molecules.
Right. So
is that related, or
so we don't have all the commentary that we would love from 2,500 years ago to understand why were they putting water into wine. But we do know a couple of things. One, the wine they were making was very, very, very powerful and dense, and actually was too much, was overwhelming for a lot of people. So they would dilute it with water just to make it drinkable for them.
That's legit. It's kind of like I cut my daughter's grape juice.
Whatever, yeah.
7 what? Grape juice.
Yeah. Or people will add water to scotch. I mean, just,
but not to water it down. It's literally just a couple drops. It's actually,
when you put ice cubes in scotch. Right?
I don't though. I like my scotch warm.
I'm not saying you.
Room temperature.
When
I don't know who these people. No, okay.
They are.
Dude, okay.
On the rocks.
Okay, fine.
It's an expression.
Because people do it.
Because people do it. So people would.
No, like my whiskey sour, I like cold.
But what you also had is
during sour in Israel.
I don't know, but during Roman times, we know that the water by itself was dangerous to drink, because people didn't know if it was polluted water even back then.
And they boiled it?
So they put wine into water, so the alcohol of the wine...
How much did they pour in?
They would mix a balance. So Roman soldiers...
What percentage? So what, they were like wasted?
Roman soldiers were drinking wine a lot of the time. Basically water, wine...
To stay hydrated.
To stay hydrated. We're drinking water, wine mixtures.
I've been drinking wine all wrong. Right, I mean, I have a 1 liter Nalgene next to my desk, and I already saw it, that I drink while I work, and I'm like, really, I should just be doing wine and just like pouring in a little bit of water.
Wine. Yeah, just straight wine. Yeah, but for the record, can dehydrate you as well. For the record.
And for the record, I only work sober. I mean, like 7 years ago, I made the mistake of managing accounts not sober. And I was like, okay, that was a mistake. The next morning, I went back to double check. I was like, okay, good thing.
Or some of your best work might be.
Yes, so some good consulting, yes, but I don't actually actively manage accounts.
Right. So there's a difference between tipsy and drunk, but that's,
Where do you think I am?
Now?
Yeah.
Probably at the T of the Tipsy.
What does that mean?
I'm saying just in the beginning of Tipsy.
Oh, okay, good. So I'm holding.
You're not like totally a tipsy yet. And you're definitely not drunk, right?
I'm definitely totally tipsy.
I'm saying, so you get tipsy, right?
Yeah, I'm definitely. I mean,
not drunk. You couldn't keep this up if you were, drunk. Drunk is
correct. I'm just saying.
Falling down, kind of falling
right.
down.
Also, by the way, just talking is my natural element. That's the same. Right?
Keeps you sober.
But I'm the QC. I don't know if that's the terminology.
But it keeps you level. Keeps you standing, sitting, whatever. Yeah. But yeah, so wine is central to life, and has been. So obviously I hope it remains central to life.
Yeah, well, it definitely is. We're getting a lot of LOLs and some comments.
Any other questions from the
Tara wants to come, but she's 5 kids. That's fine. We're not welcome.
Leave the kids outside.
No, she's not welcome because she commented that we weren't 2 meters apart.
Oh, okay.
If you got a problem with our social distancing, then no.
We're like President Trump's cabinet. We need to stay very close.
There you go. I wonder if we're having technical issues. Oh, well, she's not. She's commenting again, and you know my kids go well.
Okay.
No, I just wonder if we have technical issues. Anyway, I mean, we can keep going and just hanging out. I don't even care if the camera's on or not. But the fact that the camera's on makes no difference. These numbers are for the season. Hi, Jacob. How are you leaving? Are you leaving yes, Susan. He is leaving the bottles with me. Susan Becker. I love her. I love her.
Love her.
She's amazing. How do you know
her? Through family connections.
Oh, okay.
Original.
She's also a deadhead. She broke the news that what's his face died to me.
Who?
Not Jerry Garcia. What's his name? They used to write all the songs for Grateful Dead. And when I saw her post and she broke the news, I was listening to China Cat Sunflower. Nothing with real China.
And will they last to Pesach?
At my house?
Will they need another shipment for Pesach?
No. I don't drink that much.
Okay. And the rest of the family doesn't?
Well, my wife doesn't. My wife's 100% sober.
And you don't let the kids drink?
I don't let the. They're 8 and 5. I have 2 daughters, 8 and 4. I'm not judging. I don't care.
I'm not judging either. Right?
I just to say. I mean, it's mostly me, but like I've been working till like 11:30 midnight every night without exception. I'm not exaggerating. And so, I mean, I can't drink.
Right, but like for the 4 cups at the Seder, will daughter drink the 4 cups?
No, she'll have grape juice.
She'll have grape juice?
She won't drink. She's sober.
Wow.
She doesn't like not being in control. Dara's my wife, for those that don't know. She doesn't like being in control.
Wow.
Now, I love not being in control. I'm just saying, was it...
So we like people to drink wine for the 4 cups and big cups and drink cups.
Right, like there's a Kanye
West.
Good wine. What's that Kanye West? I love Kanye West. I really do. A lot of people think it's funny. But he says I was just drinking, now I'm driving. He's talking about I was like driving. Like, I know this is younger years, of course I don't do this anymore. Once you have a family, everything changes. But like this thing fun about doing things you enjoy doing in general, but now doing it when you're drunk. And by the way, same goes for the stoners. You like watching a movie, but you can get high and watch a movie. Or playing video games. Or when I was younger, what I used to do is from Philly.
Watching Rocky Horror Picture Show without being stoned.
It's actually
not as enjoyable.
It's actually who you're watching with.
It's not as enjoyable.
When it comes to that, it's who you're watching with more than what you're
also
more than what you're on. It's really what she's on. Anyway, so what I used to do is I used to go to Margate, right, like which is near Philly, Atlantic City, on the coast in Jersey, southern Jersey, and I would usually just get stoned and I would just run on the beach from Margate all the way to Atlantic City, turn around and come back, and it was like 6 kilometers each way. It was amazing, like on the water on the side. I miss those days. I was in better shape then.
But you don't live so far from the beach.
I don't, but actually right now the beach is closed until at least June.
Yes, we'll have to see who really...
So I do a lot of jumping jacks. My Galaxy Watch has been actually epic right now, making sure like it tells me when I'm a lazy little shit. It says, Yoel, you're lazy. Move your ass.
That is a good thing for it to say.
That's not what it says, but I want to program it because I believe that shaming works.
Right. So I'm a big fan of like doing something and then giving yourself a reward. So if I do a very long run and it's hot out and I'll come back to the winery, I'll drink a couple glasses of like something like this or a rosé or a lighter wine, not a heavy red wine after a very long run. But I will drink some lighter wine refreshing, particularly a white wine that's refreshing. On the red wines, I've given you 3. I was asked to give you you asked for a mixed case.
Yeah.
So mixed case.
Wait. So we'll just explain a little bit. So when we had this plan for a few months.
Yep.
And we actually planned for like 3-4 weeks ago or something. And I postponed on you.
You postponed.
What was the reason?
I don't remember.
I don't think the room was ready. I think like I had this room ready, and then I'm like, holy crap, I have a sound problem. And by the way, if you stay to the end, I'll show you what you can't see is the rest of this room. All you see is us, right? There's nothing people see. And I don't think I had the room ready, but I think it was something else.
I don't.
I think it doesn't matter.
You were going somewhere. I was going somewhere.
Right. I don't even know where I was going. By the way, I'm like more than the T in Tipsy. I'm like the Y.
Right. So
it's like, what is it? What is it? A-E-I-O-U and sometimes Y. So in Tipsy, I'm not the sometimes Y.
So I was supposed to be in the States twice this month of March. I was supposed to be at the Blockchain Summit in DC last week.
Why?
Because blockchain is used in the supply chain of the wine industry, or there's a lot of people, including us, talking about using blockchain.
So basically, there's a correlation. Your same audience or your same people, they're also interested in blockchain.
Some of them, yeah, sure.
By the way, I just want to bring this into
market. Yeah, go ahead.
So I've was it Sprite and the NBA? A lot of people watch NBA, also drink Sprite. You have to find where there's correlations.
Right.
A lot of people that
I don't drink Sprite and I don't watch the NBA. So there you go.
I totally feel that. Sometimes on a hot summer day and I'm trying to stay sober, I'll drink a Sprite. But other than that, I don't drink Sprite.
Okay.
It's also not good for you. But it still doesn't stop me. Like I said, I have many vices. I'm working on all of them. And I'm failing on most of them.
Right.
And so there's a lot of correlation you have to think about. So like my audience, right, is B2B and tech. So and most of our clients are cybersecurity. So we might talk about things that are relevant with cybersecurity, influential platform and all that. But still, these people are they're professionals, they're B2B, they're technology, they consume other things that are important to them.
Yeah.
So you have to find other things, what's the correlation, and talk about those things that might seem like, why are you talking about this? What does that do with cybersecurity?
But you also want to be human because it's just part of the fact that they do other things. And
right, people are human, right.
Yes, most people are human.
By the way, that's not true.
I thought I could catch you on that one.
All people are human. That's why I'm disagreeing. But but we all have even I, who unfortunately have too much of an addiction to work, I still have some human aspects. I don't know. If it wasn't for Shabbat, on Shabbat, I build connects with my daughters. I love connects. We should actually talk about nostalgia, which I want to talk about.
Right.
But because I grew up building connects. And now I love doing it with my daughters. I love it. We built a Ferris wheel over Shabbat. We built a swing set. We just build things really cool. I'm teaching them with their gears. We learn how to use gears. Really cool stuff. Anyway, so what you got to do is you got to find out what your audience likes and what in this case, right? There's a correlation between that high-end consumption of wine and, let's say, blockchain. So you need to find what your audience likes and find other things that are related, and you should be making content that's related to that stuff.
Right.
Because then they'll consume it and they'll understand that you're a bigger part of their life beyond that one specific niche, but you fill a greater void, right?
And then you care about the whole end-to-end, let's say, of what's happening with something.
Which is why Gary Vee is so successful. So let's say in your case, it's not just wine, it's not just entrepreneurship, it's not just marketing.
Right.
I mean, you find other things that are related.
Yeah.
You'll talk about work-life balance, or are there other things, or or sports, or he tries to bring other people in. So now a lot of what he's moved over to the consumer, the B2C, the consumer, because he went into sneakers. So he now does a lot with sports. Let's just say, right?
Right. But he was always a Jets freak.
Right, he was a sports.
So he was a Jets freak.
So it's natural.
So
I used to be, but I'm less now.
Right. Trying to connect being a Jets freak and really appreciating fine wine is a stretch. Right, I think he's probably Gary Vee's probably an audience of almost one in that.
So we have a comment from Benny Shoulder, who's a good friend of mine from Philly, but lives here. He joined me in Temple. He wrote, "Jezreel Valley's got great wines. During better times, your reps were at their office. He works at Kenneth Tours, promoting the winery for group visits. I look forward to the world getting back to normal, so I can send lots of guests their way."
Amen.
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 I'll drink to that.
Oh, I will.
Wait, hold up.
A little bit. Look at that. We're going to go through this whole bottle. By the way, I just want to show you what happens because it's natural wine. So the sediments are like the.
Well, why don't you hold it closer to the close? They're not going to see it.
Yeah,
get up, walk around.
I'm getting up. So tell me if you can see sediment. The sediments of the
I see
wine.
on my side too, yeah.
Sediments of the wine.
If you turn it around the other side, I think you see better.
Oh yeah, you can see the sediments of the wine. Here's sediments of the wine at the bottom. I actually like this a lot. It's like
on the glass
flavor.
You know what that reminds me of? In college when we were potheads back in the day, it was called res, which is short for residue.
Right.
So they take the leftover res, it was usually like whitish powder.
Yeah.
And then they smoke it, that shit would get you high off your ass. So if we take all this stuff and we smoked it, would that get us high?
Right, it's powerful. It's very
I'm
powerful.
just saying.
Right, so
wine res. Did you ever do? No.
So you don't find this stuff. You don't find the sediments in a bottle of wine like this because it's filtered. Because a lot of people will think, oh, it's dirty or what is that stuff? Whereas we actually, in this type of wine, look at all that stuff that you're getting. See all that stuff?
So what's this? This is like hipster juice.
This is hipster juice. This is total hipster juice.
So can you like take this down, refine it, boil it down, put it into a capsule, and sell it for $40?
Right. Dirty wine is like hipsters love dirty.
Wait, so what do you, thank you. So basically you're saying hipsters are dirty?
No.
Yeah, that's what he said, for the record. What are we drinking next? Let's open another one.
You really want to open another bottle of wine?
I'll finish it the next day or two anyway. Tomorrow's Shabbat, so by Saturday we'll be done.
Okay.
What should we try? I want to try another one. What should we try?
Agree to it, but I'm not going to drink too much.
That's fine. You're just,
No,
I don't want to.
No, I'm not going to open the rosé.
I don't want
So
it.
let me explain to you. This one, the labels are.
Wait, hold on. Let me ask as an ignoramus, because I am.
Go.
For those that don't know, I went to undergrad at Temple University. I was in a fraternity. We took. Never mind. I'm tipsy enough to know not to say certain things.
Ask me.
But we had. So I mean, it was quality over quantity. So when I look at this, I just say, oh, two of these here. Hold up, let's turn this around so that you can see, right? We got 2018, 220, 12017. Why is it bringing that out? We have Adumim, which literally means red.
Reds. Right.
Nihalel, which means
Nahalal.
praise. Nahalal, is that
No, I'll explain Nahalal.
Okay, I'll get to it in a minute. And then we have Alpha, which reminds me of, no, that's Alfalfa from, what's the movie?
Yeah, we're not talking about.
Little Rascals?
Yeah, we can focus. We're talking about Alpha. Yeah.
There's no focusing. What are you talking about? Anyway, so we got so like if I'm looking at these 201 bottle 2018. Now let me ask you a question. The two that are 2018, which are these two, they got one in the bottle, and this we got a different shape bottle. First, in general, is there a difference between the shapes? One, and as to do with the quality or how you store wine or anything? Quick answer, please. And then why the hell did you put the 2017 in this and 2018? Does it have to do with the year? Like this was cheaper, economies of scale, or what? Or so how do you decide what wine gets what?
So first of all, the reverse. These bottles are easier and easier economies of scale than these bottles. Again, we said it earlier in the broadcast for anybody who's still here from the beginning. If not, you can go back to the beginning. Tradition. There's a big thing of tradition in the wine industry. And choosing what kind of bottle you use for your particular wines is part of that tradition. 99.999% of our consuming public, we've realized, could care less about that tradition, and only
what the shape
of which shape bottle is it?
So who does it care? What does it matter?
That's what I'm saying. We started off.
What is the tradition?
We started off being too influenced by the tiny.
I'm telling you, man, I love this hipster brand. Not because I like hipsters. I don't.
I do.
Oh, because you want to sell to them.
I'm the whole like them.
I mean, I guess. I mean, maybe I'm jealous because I can't grow a good beer. But I mean, they're easy to sell to.
Yeah. Hopefully. So these bottles is distinct. This bottle, or this bottle, which is the same as this bottle, just this is clear, are two different types of bottles in the wine world, and from different places. Evolved traditions of using particular types of bottles.
Wow, there's a lot of sugar in that.
That's the sediment. That's concentrated wine.
Wait, so, okay, hold up, guys. For those that don't see, you know, this reminds me of?
What?
You know, I got this from Mashlach Mano. Mashlach Mano is like, you give like gifts of food to people.
Right. Food gifts, yeah.
Let me bring this into the camera. You see that? That's called funded. See what I'm saying? You got to make a hipster wine called funded.
Yeah,
I'd buy it.
that is.
And basically, I just consumes an insane amount of sugar.
Yes.
Is this, now you said this is like concentrated wine, right?
Yeah.
So will this get me more drunk than the same volume of just straight up wine?
Slightly higher alcohol content.
Do you want to find out? We'll find out.
Slightly higher alcohol content. But
Jesus, it's like chewing sand.
yeah.
But it's dissolvable sand. Like
Fun dip. Exactly. It's the
when you make a fun dip wine,
it's the fun dip wine. Whoa, fun dip wine.
What do you think about making a fun dip wine where you make a wine and you make a special stick where you dip it in, and you
and then it comes with like a little sack.
Yeah, like three sticks, three sticks or something.
It's a good idea.
Do it.
Let's go for it.
I'm doing it. I don't know. I'd rather do it, but I'm just thinking.
Why not? Let's create a product together.
I'm fan Dame. Tell me what you need. I'll be your taster. I'll market it. But I'm just saying, the problem is like, Gary, we talked about this, but like, you don't gotta go, don't be influenced by tradition.
You want to be the consultant. You want to tell other people what to do. I'm saying, hey, let's do it together.
I don't know how to do it. I'm doing this.
We'll do it.
As I told you, I went to undergrad in America as a fraternity, where our wine, when we were snobs, was we slapped the bladder and we drank it until you passed out. Very different from what I'm doing now, which is still very different from how you consume wine.
But you know marketing.
That I know.
That's what I'm saying. No
I know attention. So I'm like, why not make a fun dip wine?
I agree with
Because a lot of people like my age, okay, I'm in my mid-30s, which is painful, no offense. And because you're in your late 30s. And I mean, fun dip was something we grew up with. The sugar stick.
I feel 18, so
that's cool.
that's
Okay.
the important thing.
It's okay. I'm all into young check.
My children are younger, or my children are older.
Are the same age as
older than
your
me.
siblings.
My children are older.
They're like
than
your
me.
cousins.
Right, my children are older.
No, I feel really young at heart too. People know that too. Which is probably why you have a full head of hair, and so do I. I think there's a correlation.
Yes.
Why are so many Israelis bald?
Do you want the anti-Semitic version?
Yes, that's my favorite one.
Kamazole? What's the price?
For what?
Anything. What's the price?
Ah!
You do that enough times.
Enough time, you lose your hair.
Yeah.
There you go. I like that. That's actually, I would call that accurate. Sometimes stereotypes can be funny.
Yes.
Wait, so what am I drinking now?
Okay.
We got Adumim. Should we do Endendino second? No?
However you want. So Adumim is the 2017 vintage, which sat for aged.
They can't see, so let's put it this way. Do you know what you're looking from the back?
Yes. This, yes.
Sorry.
Also, we have cheat sheets in there.
Oh, okay. For those that don't know, hold on. All those dumb adjectives that all sound the same. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Are you also part of that?
Which?
Like the dumb adjectives?
Which dumb adjectives?
See, like this, like it's a fruity wine.
Yeah,
It gives you a little bit of this.
So
If I made a wine line, by the way,
I do have to say,
mine would be a joke. Okay,
Listen.
it would be fun dip, sugar, but like if you're still reading these adjectives, it's bullshit. Drink this, get crunk. It's good for your price, and it tastes good too. Get laid, wine and chill. That's what it would be. And then I'd have a QR scan where they can scan it, read more about it, and watch more shows. It's good to watch with this. And I'd get affiliate clicks.
Yes.
But maybe I'm too much of a marketer, but that's how I think.
Yeah. Well, actually, the first labels we did, we had a QR code on them.
Okay, awesome. I love it.
We need to go back.
Did you see my business card? I show you my business card. I have the most epic business card. I'm walking away, but I don't really care.
Oh,
But you tell them the difference between the wine.
So we've got Adumim 2017, set for aged, more technically terms, which aged for 18 months in oak barrels. And then was bottled and then rested in the bottle, because when you bottle, at first you have to go bottle shock. So you have to let it rest for a little while. And then, so that's Adumim. And Adumim is a combination of our three classic varietals, Syrah, Karaman, and Argaman, which is only grown in Israel.
Look at that size as that QR code. Look at the other side.
All right, it's your wooden card. I remember you told me you were making wooden.
I have the sexiest cards in Israel. I challenge you to have a better card than me as of today.
Yeah, these are very sexy cards.
Yeah.
The trouble is, right?
Well, where's the QR code go? Where do you think?
Where does it lead me to when I scan it?
Yeah.
To a paywall to see.
No paywalls. That's just sucker marketing. I don't gate things.
I have no idea. Where does it go?
Testimonials.
Okay.
We have over 50. So.
Very nice.
Right. Yes.
Okay. So we have Adumim, we have Nahalal and Alpha, but actually it's Alpha Nahalal. Why do I say it has to be Alpha to Nahalal? So this is part of a series of wines that we make. We're in Kibbutz Hanaton, which is at the upper end of the Jezreel Valley.
No, hold on. Slow down. You talk too much.
I'm just explaining.
Yeah, but what the hell's the Jezreel Valley? What's the kibbutz? What's the Hanaton?
I'm giving you the Cliff Notes version. You say,
but they don't know what that is. The Cliff Notes.
No, go look it up.
No, they're not. No, Google. No one gives a shit. Okay. If you look at the map of the Galilee, which is northern Israel, okay, and if you put a pinpoint in the center, that's more or less Hanaton.
Thank you. Okay.
That's where they are. It's the kibbutz. What does the kibbutz mean? It's a bunch of fascists.
Yes.
No, I'm joking.
Alpha is named for an ancient Jewish community called Beit Alpha. This is Nahalal, which is named for the first modern moshav, which was part of the...
That's actually really cool. Does that say that on the back?
Yes.
Okay.
This is Nahalal, which is named after the first modern moshav, who was born and grew up in Nahalal. One of the famous people, there are a number. One of them was Moshe Dayan. Do you know who Moshe Dayan was?
Yeah, the dude with one eye.
Exactly. Our minister.
What's the marketing? I think he did that intentionally.
Well, I think he just wore that for the pictures. But
that's what I'm saying, right? Just
made it look so cool.
Yeah, like what's his name? I was talking actually about this yesterday. Drew Carey.
Mm-hmm.
He got with the glasses and all that. He got laser eye surgery. His glasses, his frames are just right. They're not even prescribed.
Yeah.
This is so interesting.
Right. So Moshe Dayan became famous for the patch.
Right. It's just like what's that congressman in Texas? He's got an eye patch. He actually lost his eye. He lost his eye in an IED in Iraq.
Dayan lost it also in battle.
So they both say.
But it makes you remember them.
Wait, so which one am I opening?
I think we should open the Alpha.
Guys, which one should I open?
I think we should open the Alpha.
Unfortunately, there's a 90-second delay.
Yeah, it's not a real-time thing, so we're going to have to go with the Alpha.
Why?
Why do I think we should open Alpha?
Yes.
Because, first of all, you're tipsy already.
So meaning this is your less good wine? So I'll have
no less good. There's no less good. Let's not speak in those words. They can hear you.
I love you.
Yeah.
See me.
Wine's a living, breathing thing.
All right.
Once you finish doing that, I'll show you what I do.
I mean, some people just go straight through, right?
So I don't go straight through either. I do something which was taught to me.
You guys watching? This is a hardcore tip right here.
Taught to me. So you did it properly. That is the way someone.
Proper?
Yes.
I hate being proper.
That was the proper.
As far as I'm concerned, I screwed it up.
Right. That's the little knife. It's to properly keep this. Why? Because then you keep the branding of the label here.
Branding, schmanding. When I smoke a cigar, first thing I do is take off the whole label. I like to feel the tobacco leaf, the wrapper.
Right. So you keep anyway. This keeps the branding here. So when it's poured, you can say, yes, it's from that wine. But what do I do? Excuse me. I learned this from somebody. Hold on. Now you took the top off. It's gonna be harder to do it. So
this is the branding, just like I do with cigars.
So I take
this. You peel the whole thing off.
This, and then I've got a clean.
Hold on. So wait, like this?
No, don't do it. We're not drinking that right now.
Who cares? What's the matter? That's it.
Boom. The nice foil. All right. Okay. Make believe this still has the nice foil on top because it also says Jezreel on the top. There's marketing involved.
I understand.
Okay.
But me throwing that towards the camera.
That was also marketing. Do you know why I learned that? So this from, for our viewing audience, don't know from.
Wait, hold on. We're opening this.
I
just want to know.
Don't
get in between it.
While you're opening it.
Don't get in between a man
and his wine. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're opening it while I'm telling the story.
Do you guys know how to open a bottle of wine? Is there rules involved?
There's rules, but you're not a master of wine, so just go for it.
Yeah, but I've opened enough bottles to know.
Okay.
Basically. That's enough.
That's enough, yeah.
I tried to twist it. That's it. So basically, the main thing is to know
Yeah, very nice.
Basically, the importance is don't pierce the cork all the way through. Correct? See, I know. And how I know to do that is at least two full rings all the way through. You can leave 3 full rings. I mean,
you remember a lot of things while you're tipsy.
No, I'll tell you what. I used to work at Olive Garden.
Oh.
I was a waiter at Olive Garden. Do you know what Olive Garden is? I mean, it's probably one of the best American things ever. They have a thing called it's a chain, lowest common denominator Italian restaurant. Let's just say, hold on. Let me just rinse out this, what's it called? The fondant.
The fondant.
Will you please do it? Like, will you make a fondant and give them sticks to dip it in?
We should do that.
Yeah. Make a Christian wine, and what do they put, crackers in their wine? Don't they do that something? Like
the crackers is the body. Yeah.
Great! So you get crackers for the fondant, you dip it in the wine, you sell it to Christians.
Right.
It's like 50 million evangelicals.
The body and blood of Christ, right?
Yeah, sure, whatever. I just mean, like, I'm just talking about sales.
Okay.
L'chaim.
Should do it. L'chaim.
Anyway.
So I'm not going to be partaking of alpha because it's a little bit higher in alcohol content than the Petna, and I do have to drive eventually. So I'm not going to be, but you should go ahead and have it.
I didn't need your permission.
I know. This wine, right, is named after Beit Alpha.
Can we talk about aerating wine? I'm sorry, I know you're totally into this, but what does that mean, aerate wine? What the hell does that mean? Okay. Why does it matter?
So why did I just say before, wine is living and breathing?
Okay, right? So
all the time, right? Why does wine develop? Why do people say, ooh, how does that age? Right?
I don't know. I just think they're obnoxious.
People say, you know, about your kids, you know, I'm like, why are you asking me in real time? You asked me in 20 years, I could tell you how my kids have developed. I don't know.
Oh, sorry, developed. Sorry.
I don't know in real. I can't tell you right now how their school is or whatever.
Right.
Ask me in 20 years. By the way, if you ask me about my older children, I can say, yeah, it worked. You know, they're doing really well. Thank you. That's a plug for my children.
Yes.
So a wine continues to live and breathe. Some wines will continue to get better and better, or will develop and develop and develop, and then some of them will start to go down after a certain amount of time. It's not that they've stopped developing, they've actually started to lose their taste after a certain amount of time.
How long?
Every wine is different, like every person is different.
Well, what's the rule of thumb? If I buy wine, let's say the supermarket, or if I order online from Jezreel Valley, or from Vincent, how, by a rule of thumb?
A rule of thumb, right?
I don't have a wine cellar, but I'll keep it in the shade, or somewhere in the shade, in the dark, right, in a closet, or in my kitchen or something, right? So it's not, no direct sun on it.
Yeah.
Okay. How long would it last unopened?
Unopened, a good bottle of wine, like anything from Jezreel, any of our red wines, you could easily keep for 5+ years. Some of them will, we think, taste even better after 4 or 5 years. So, for example, our Syrah 2014, which is available in the American market, here in Israel, it's basically sold out. The Syrah 2014 is tasting remarkably well right now, and that's from 6 years ago. It's tasting remarkably well. Anyway, this Alpha.
Wait, so hold on. How long can I keep a wine? I don't have a cellar. How long can I keep it?
Right.
It's in, no sun touches it.
No sun touches it and remains, let's say, 16 degrees.
Right,
16 to 20
and it's like this, so the cork doesn't get screwed up.
If it's going to go above 20 degrees, don't keep it that long.
What's on Fahrenheit? That's the one thing. I moved here almost 7 years ago.
Something, double it and
I've learned everything, but Fahrenheit, sorry. Unless you're a scientist, Fahrenheit is better than Celsius.
Yeah, I've lived here now most of my life, so I think in Celsius these days.
Right, but unless you're a scientist, Fahrenheit is better than Celsius.
Yeah.
I agree with most of the other metrics. The liters, the kilometers, I get it. I respect it's better. I mean, they're both okay, but it is a little better. But when it comes to straight up, what's the temperature? Generally speaking, Fahrenheit like 0 to 100.
Bottom line.
Dude, you're way too focused.
I'm trying to answer your original question.
Which one was it?
It was something about aging wine.
You don't even know the answer.
It was about aging wine.
Wait, hold on. Okay, fine. One quick answer. If you're in the shade, it's in my cupboard, no sun touches it, it's in the normal temperature, room temperature, the warmer side. How long will it last?
Easily 5 to 10 years.
5 to 10 years. There you go. Okay. Up to 10 years, at least 5, you're definitely in the clear. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank
you.
But
if you bought, let's say, a bottle of wine in the red wine in the supermarket.
People need to learn these things.
Yes. If you buy a bottle of red wine in the supermarket that cost you 25 shekel, which is like $6 or $7, yeah, then you should just drink that. Don't bother aging it, and it probably won't age very well.
Right.
So there are wines which just won't age well.
Got it. So cheap wines don't age well.
For the most part.
Okay. So basically, don't buy cheap wines. Buy Jezreel Valley wines. It is the best wine for your buck.
Definitely. Definitely.
By the way, I
Here in
totally
Israeli
agree.
Scene, definitely. Yeah. Anyway, so that's.
Why don't they sell this in my supermarket?
So, we were talking before about correlations between audiences and so on and so forth. In your supermarket, they might think that they don't have enough overlap.
Right. What you need to do is
the old Yemenite guys.
No, it's not even that. We have enough hippies here. You need to make a weed-infused wine. Why haven't you?
Because shame on us. We should be doing a cannabis wine. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, if you're making hipster wine,
yes, we should be doing
cannabis wine. Fun dip wine.
Do they have other CBD? Do they have other CBD products in the supermarket here?
No.
They're missing out.
But all they just make it. Who cares? It's their loss. You got the opportunity.
Yeah, you're right. Anyway, we're not in most supermarkets because the supermarkets are looking for the lowest common denominator wines, meaning price. So just keep in mind, when you're buying a bottle of wine for 25 shekel retail, right, $7 retail, that means the supermarket has to make some money. So take $1 or $2 off of that. Then whoever brought it to the supermarket, the distributor, has to make some money. So the winery, in that case, is probably getting somewhere between $3 and $4 for that $7 bottle of wine.
Wow, really? It's more than I thought, to be honest.
It's more than
I thought.
You thought
$7, you're making 50% is your margins.
I'm saying to those big wineries that are. I'm not telling at those price points, but if you buy a bottle of wine of ours in a wine shop here in Israel.
This is great, by the way.
Thank you very much.
No, thank you.
But when you buy a bottle of wine in a supermarket, those are the economies. If you buy it in a wine shop here in Israel, similar economies. This wine, for example, Adumim, sells in the States, in stores in the States for $30, right? Little secret for the viewing audience, we get $10. Those are the economies.
What are your margins?
On the $10? On this type of wine, it's probably like 20%. Alpha.
20%. So you're making. Wait, hold up. We're low battery. No, you continue. I don't plug this in.
You're low battery? I've never.
Well, the computer. Me, no, I'm never low battery. But the computer is the source that connects to the phone. And with the Haggadah.
Yeah. Anyway, we're gonna finish up soon. What were we talking about? We were talking about pricing, right? Which is why I urge you, if you develop a wine which you really like, please buy it directly from the winery as much as you can. The world of distribution is very important as well, because most people are just discovering wines, or they're not buying enough to order directly from a winery. So I have nothing against wine stores. I love wine stores and restaurants and any place else that you could be introduced to wines that you don't know or wines that you do. But when you do find a wine that you really like, if you can order it directly from the winery, you should, because the winery will be far better off for it, and you develop a direct connection with. Are
they cheaper if you buy from winery?
So for the most part, slightly cheaper, but they're not going to be that much cheaper because they don't want to compete with the store.
It's interesting.
From a price point.
That's politics, right?
Yeah, I mean it's the politics of economy, right? So if you have a store that's investing in your wine, and they've got to buy the wine, they've got to put it on the shelf, and so on and so forth, and then you're selling it for much cheaper and competing with them, they're like, hey, screw you, I'm not going to carry your wine anymore. So you have to calibrate things. If you, for example, get in a wine club from a winery you like, and you commit to buying a certain amount of wine, so you're going to get a greater discount than if you were just buying it bottle by bottle. But those are standard marketing tools that sort of, I think your viewing audience should be familiar with.
Probably.
They should be.
I agree.
Yeah, buying packages.
What's up? Okay, so next year, was it 2021, we're going to see Fun Dip wine?
We're going to see CBD wine, cannabis infused wine.
And
Fun Dip wine.
Is there like a ridiculous line like this that I'm talking about, or do I have to start my own winery?
We do have to start our own winery for these types of things, but we could handle it. We could do a lot of the wine making.
But you can do all the work, and we can do
the work. You can do the
You understand how much money is you know how much money is in fun dip wine? If you gave them something to dip in their freaking wine, you know what genius this is?
It's totally genius. If you look at a wine brand in the States called Babe Wine.
Babe
Wine.
Was it like a bottle of a hot woman like Frangelica?
It's canned wine.
I'm pulling it up.
Babe Wine.
Oh, she's
canned wine.
B-A-B-E
wine.
Babe wine. You deserve some wine,
babe. So do you know the Fat Jew?
Me?
Do you know the Fat Jew? Not you.
I know myself pretty well, but
do you know the Fat Jew? He's a comedian and a social media type person. You are 21. So yes. Anyway, that's Babe Wine.
She's hot.
I'll go by your.
You're so ridiculous. Like beer. He's less.
That's the Fat Jew.
That's the Fat Jew. Wait, hold up.
That's the Fat Jew.
This is a fat Jewish guy on the Babe Wine.
Yes.
Babe Wine.
Right. He created Babe Wine.
It's such a good thing.
Oh my God.
So wait, what is it about?
It's just about marketing. He makes canned wine.
I love this guy.
Makes canned wine.
I also love fat Jews.
Especially this guy. So he makes canned wine. He got Madonna to invest in this.
Why did he shave his head? He's not balding.
It's a very successful wine brand in the States, but he had to get people to buy cans of wine, which was not a self-evident thing to do. And he did it. Yeah.
Where's that, Coney Island?
That I don't know.
There's a big picture of like half-naked girls lying on the beach in front of a Ferris wheel.
Right. If you follow Fat Jew on Instagram, you'll see that he spends a lot of time with half-naked girls.
I already follow myself on Instagram. See what?
That is marketing.
That's all genius marketing.
It's all marketing.
Just chill. See, for people that don't know, this is like a thing. It was a meme that went viral. Like it was a homeless guy. What did he hold up?
Yeah.
For those that can see, and they're taking normal, like they take shreds.
Yeah.
And then they put it into his wine. That's genius.
Babe Wine was genius. He sold
this guy gets marketed.
Yeah, he sold it, and he made some money. But he's still the face of Babe Wine. But that's an example of total marketing. Nobody's buying Babe Wine for the taste of Babe Wine. It has to be drinkable.
Sure, but that's not too hard to.
Yeah, just has to be wet and have alcohol content. And then you pop a can, and if it's cold and you're on the beach, then you pound it.
Let's be honest. Okay, I'm speaking from
personal
experience. 15 years ago, many people, there's at least in my opinion, tell me if I'm wrong, 30% of the audience are people that want to get drunk, want to get a significant other or a date drunk, or want to look cool, or something, right?
Yeah, you can.
30% of the people that drink alcohol, whatever it is, it's either socially they want to make themselves look good,
loosen themselves up.
They want to loosen themselves,
right?
Or they want to loosen the people around them.
Yeah. Get an
30%
around them.
30% is my guess. I don't know.
Probably more. Yeah.
Probably even more.
Yeah.
So there's so much money in fun dip wine, Babe wine.
Yeah. Look, do we only do things for money? No. Sometimes we do things out of passion and interest. And you are not only doing things for money.
No, I am not. I do things out of passion and interest too.
Exactly. So yeah, there's a lot of money in candle.
So why not be like Marriott? Marriott's got like Marriott hotels, then they got Double Tree by Marriott.
And then they got the Bonvoy.
And the Bonvoy.
That stupid commercial every time you fly United Airlines. The Bonvoy.
The Bonvoy. They have like a few levels of hotels.
Yes.
Under the Marriott brand. Have you ever considered making a different brand?
Other brands.
Yes. That wouldn't hurt the Jezreel brand. You'd rename it, but it would be by Jezreel.
Do something. Yeah, off the same platform.
Are you doing that? And is that in the plans?
It's in the plans.
What are your plans?
I'm not going to reveal them right now.
Why?
One, because I don't actually have them fully cooked. And two, I'll give an example. Canned wine. In order to do canned wine in Israel, you have to have a canning machine. You have to, like, some of these things.
Well, everywhere
more
you need a canning machine, you
challenging.
want to be in Israel. You need a canning machine no matter where you are.
Yeah, but I'm saying that we do live in an island. Like, to get access to certain things is more challenging.
That's true. We are an island.
Right.
For those that don't know, all of our immediate neighbors want to kill us. So that means they don't trade with us.
I disagree. Some of our immediate neighbors no longer want to kill us. They just don't necessarily want to be best friends.
Fine. But they wouldn't be upset if we happened to die. They might rejoice.
Some of our neighbors.
They might not be proactive. I don't know who your neighbors are. By the way, he lives in a kibbutz. That means he lives in a bubble.
Right. I have a lot of friends in Jordan and Egypt.
So do I.
Who don't want me to die.
Yes, on social media.
No,
yes.
in real life, I have friends.
No, I don't know them personally.
No,
but
I have real life friends.
Okay, so I don't, but I'm just saying yes.
Who they do not want me to die.
I mean,
they don't even want you to die.
I agree. I mean, governments. I don't mean.
I would say the current governments of Jordan and Egypt don't want you to die either.
It's not that they don't want. No, they're indifferent.
They're
at best.
I would argue that they're beyond indifferent. They want you to stick around because you provide.
No, if I died, they don't care.
Why do they care?
No,
because I'm telling you why they do care. Because you create a sense of stability in the region.
Oh yes,
they need us. They need. Right. So I'm saying even from that point of view.
I'm just saying, as a Westerner, an American, if a Canadian died, let's say in some tragic accident, I would say that's a tragedy. And I would think about it like that's tragic, and you move on with your life. If an Egyptian thought, oh, an Israeli died in a car accident, they wouldn't even care. Whatever, great, whatever.
Disagree, but
they might want Israel to still be strong and all that because it's important for them and their stability.
I'm more of a believer in the essential humanity of people, but
I also believe that. I just wish my neighbors did too.
Okay.
Anyway, we're way off topic.
We'll get into it. Yeah.
You're just really PC because you're worried more about your business, and I'm more real.
No, I'm more real, but that's my real.
I'm giving you a hard time.
But that's my real.
It's okay,
but you're enjoying alpha. That's what's important.
Dude, alpha is awesome.
Great.
By the way, radical difference between the two.
There's nothing to.
Just no. Obviously, not just as the color of the bottle.
No, they're completely different wines.
One's bubbly, one's cold, one's lighter. Lighter, I mean, on the palate.
Exactly.
One's colder.
Look, we polished off this bottle without.
Dude, you can easily. You know what this is good for? So generally, when I barbecue, I drink red.
Right. This you could drink.
This while you're barbecuing. This is be gone so quick. Boom. You know what it reminds me of? There were old beer commercials in America. It was like Miller Lite. They're like, was it like drink more, like less filling? Do you know what I mean? It's like it's easy for you to chug.
Right.
That's what this is, man. If you want to get wasted, or you want to get your, if you're a hipster, or who you're dating is a hipster, and you want to get them smacked.
Tipsy. Tipsy's better than smacked.
You want to get them smacked. Who wants to get them? They want to get them smacked.
Whatever. Let's keep it. What's that expression? NSWW. What is that? A rating
safe for work?
Expression?
Is it not safe for work? NSW?
Something like that. Yeah.
No, smack. I don't mean that like in a not safe for work way.
Okay.
I mean, waste, whatever.
Okay.
Fine. Get this if you're trying to get your friend drunk. That's all I'm saying. Because what did that do? That got me really drunk.
Okay.
Because it was like.
Well, because it's very easy drinking. It's only 11%.
It's so easy.
It's 11%.
So this is more.
This is only 11% alcohol. Obviously, it's higher than a beer, but it's 11%.
Heather is double beer.
Yeah,
Beer's 5.5.
Well, some stout beers could be 7-8%. But anyway,
sure.
So this is 11%.
And what's this? This no 14. Oh wow,
this is
14.1.
No, a good red wine is hovering around the 14% usually.
But that's uniquely Israeli. People say that Israel, because it's hot climate, it makes grapes that are higher alcohol concentration. That's what I've heard. True or false?
False in the sense because you as the grower have a lot of control over, and when you harvest, have a lot of control over when you pick. The agronomy of it and so on. So I wouldn't take it as a given that it's a higher alcohol content. A lot of it is up to you in the winemaking process.
We got Tara left because we were talking about potheads. She says, this isn't the homeschool I'm interested in. I feel you. By the way, if you're putting your kids to watch this, you're a terrible parent. But I'm not going to judge because I know what my kids are watching today.
Some of the stuff that I've seen that they've sent links for, this is better.
I agree with that for sure. By the way, maybe we should make a kid show.
We could.
But it can't be alcohol related.
Because
we just try Fun Dip.
We could do Fun Dip. No, we can do alcohol-free wines, but they're not very good. I've tried them.
That's not wine. That's grape juice.
No, there's actually wines which have the alcohol removed. Well, it's like there's a great run if you come back to running, there's a great run.
You want to talk about that? Let's talk about running.
Yeah, there's a great run.
No,
Listen to me for a second.
Yeah.
It's related to alcohol. There's a great run by me once a month during the spring, summer, and fall. Full moon run.
It's at night.
And everybody goes out full moon.
It's at night, yeah.
At night.
What time does it
Full
start?
moon run, usually 9 p.m. And you can do 6 kilometers, 10 kilometers, and 15 kilometers. But it's sponsored by a sporting goods running shoe store called Runway, and they offer beer. When you finish your run, there's beer.
Yeah, that's the best, by the way.
Complimentary.
By the way, if after you work out, drinking is great.
Right.
But hold on, I'm sorry, I'm not going to say this, but since you use your lungs so much, there are some substances that you might consume via lungs, which is also great after your workout.
Yeah. So anyway, I finished a run. The last time that they had it, I finished a run, and it was dark, right? So you can't really necessarily see what you're grabbing, but they had these bottles of beer, and I grabbed a bottle of beer, and I'm drinking it, and something was off about the beer. And then a friend of mine walks up, and he says, "Oh, you like that 0% Heineken?" And I was like, 0%?
Oh, yeah,
what are you talking about?
That.
And then I looked at it, and sure enough, it had 0% alcohol. And I could taste the difference.
Immediately,
it was missing something. It was definitely missing something.
Yes.
So yeah, alcohol definitely is part of the experience, is part of the taste as well. So we could do non-alcohol, but it doesn't taste very good. So yeah, these are the wines. Enjoy them. I hope they don't last you through Pesach, so we need to replenish you.
I hope so too.
Yeah.
It's a couple weeks, but you gave me a whole case. I got 12 wines.
Well, you're sequestered here for the next 2
That's
weeks.
true, I am sequestered.
We went through a bottle and a half.
I'm also working too late.
Just sitting here.
But I'll definitely finish this one for Shabbat and probably open another one. By Monday we finish.
By the way, you know the rules, right? If you
No, what are the rules?
Okay, you open a bottle of wine. If for whatever reason, crazy reason, you don't finish it at that meal or at that evening when you've opened it, you need to close it. Yeah, okay. So you need to close it really nicely, preferably with a
air pump.
Air pump.
If you don't, should I get one? Do people know what that is? I have one.
Yeah, I mean you can get it, but if you don't have an air pump at home,
basically it's for those that don't know. Explain people.
Yeah.
It's basically a cork, not a cork, but it's rubber.
Yeah.
You put it in, and then there's a pump. What it does is it sucks all the air out, so it makes a vacuum.
Exactly.
Which really slows down the process of making it become crap wine.
Exactly. That's a very technical explanation. But if you don't have a pump for whatever reason, take the cork, put it back in, but don't try to put it at the side. With the wine.
It's harder because it got wet, so it got larger.
Expand it, right. So it's very easy to put the other side in and just push it in enough. You can take this out if you want. Push it in enough so that you can't push it easily anymore. And that should keep it good at home for about a day, 2 days.
2 days, right.
At most. With a pump, it could last 3 days. But that's
just 3?
Yeah, that's about it.
You gives you an extra day and a half, maybe?
Yeah, you really need to drink it up. Because even with the pump, you're not replacing it with anything. So we're getting a little chemically here, or whatever the process is. But when you use something called a coravin, it actually replaces the air that you're taking out with a gas and keeps it really constant. But anyway.
This is, by the way, my longest live stream by these double. Okay. We've been on for an hour and 40 minutes.
Well, we could say goodbye.
I don't care. We can do whatever the hell we want. I mean, I'm going to keep here. As far as I'm concerned, we're just going to still have this conversation. It's going to get a little less PC once we shut it off.
Yeah, I got to get it home.
Should we end it off? Okay, so this is Jacob, Ner David from Kibbutz Chanaton, dead in the center of Galilee, and founder of Jezreel Wines. Put the Jez in Jezreel. Do you like that?
I love it.
Good.
Yeah. So you can find us at JezreelWinery.com.
And there's an app you started, not related, kind of, called Vincent Wine.
Right, I was inspired by my experience.
Vinsent.
Exactly.
Basically, why the hell are you still going to the store and schlepping wine? Wine's heavy as hell. Get it delivered to your house at Vincent Wines. Make it easy for yourself. If you're still getting delivered, you're an idiot. Go to Vincent, Vinsent Wine. Search for it in Google or Bing and you'll find it.
Bing?
Yeah.
You get paid to say that?
Not yet.
Does anybody actually do Bing anymore?
Well, people use Brave and DuckDuckGo and a little bit of
that
Bing.
is true.
So people do use Bing, but they don't go to Bing.com, but like the default.
They have it built into something or whatever.
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
It's built into
I
all
didn't
the
know there
things.
was anything left in it. Okay.
But don't get me wrong, like, by the way, as a marketer and someone does a lot of advertising on Google and Bing.
You advertise on Bing?
Yeah.
Wow.
25% of 3% of traffic, search traffic in North America.
Through Bing? Wow, I never knew that. Okay, I just learned something.
Yeah, and conversion rates are much better. I mean, you don't have the scale of Google by far, but I mean, it's.
But the real people.
If you get like.
The people, the big people are real people.
Allegedly, I mean, same goes for Google. Allegedly, they're people. I don't know. So everything's numbers and data. Yeah. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's got better conversion rates, cheaper cost per click, but it's a pain in the ass. The UI is not as good as Google. But it's worth it. I mean, once you get accounts back to marketing, like on Google Ads, they're going well. You can actually export it, duplicate it into Bing, and run them. Ones that are like very well optimized. That
all right, so we'll have to talk about that. Okay, so JezreelWinery.com or Vincent.wine. Get your wine delivered here at Israel. We're running a special, by the way, for your Israeli viewing audience. We're running a special of Jezreel wine, which is during this challenging period. Even a single bottle that you order is free delivery.
Boom!
Single bottle, free delivery anywhere in Israel. Obviously, we want you to order.
Don't miss out. Just get a cool bottle, at least one special one for Pesach. It's worth it.
Right. We want you to order more than one bottle, but in order to get that, put Spring Sale as the coupon code. Spring Sale. If you're having any technical problems or whatever, get in touch with me, with Yoel. We'll get a little commission from it.
I don't need commissions.
Well,
I just want the fun dip wine. I want the Jesus fun dip wine.
That's your
where
wine.
You put the cracker in the wine. Why don't you do that? It's genius.
Okay.
All right, we'll talk about that off camera. All right. Anyway, Jacob, elbow pump. Boom. Thanks, everybody. Peace out.